Scarecrow has won. He has conquered the city, and he's somehow got his hands on Batman. Will the Bat family escape the fear state? This is Comicstorian, where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. We basically take the idea of the comic book, give you a synopsis of the storyline, cut out some of the artwork and some of the extra plot points and tell you what's going on. This allows you to go to your local comic book store or digital retailer and buy the issues yourself to get the full story, or you can go to your local store and get the next issues. Today we're going to be covering Fear State Alpha and then Batman 112 and 113. This storyline has about 40 issues in it, so we're going to be cutting out a lot of them to give you the actual plot, as a lot of them have just been kind of thrown in to make it work. But these three today, they're very important to the overall plot. Now, when we last left off, Simon Saint was attempting to take over the city of Gotham with his magistrate program. He created Peacekeeper 01, which was Sean Mahoney, to try and be a government-funded Batman, and sent him off to defeat Batman. Batman battled against Peacekeeper 01 and Simon Saint, while realizing that Scarecrow was actually pulling the strings from behind the scenes. And as the Magistrate's forces pushed back all of Batman's brand new allies, Scarecrow made his move, putting the entire city of Gotham into a fear state. And that brings us to this one, Fear State Alpha, the official launch issue of this event. Here we go. Many months ago, there was a conversation in Arkham, one between Simon Saint and Jonathan Crane. Saint came wanting to discuss his admiration to some of the work that Jonathan Crane had done, but Crane saw through it. He didn't come here to admire his work. He came because he sees a utility in it. And the truth is, Crane frightens Saint. Saint told him that he was scared, tremendously, but his work has found an audience in Silicon Valley, particularly the series of papers that Jonathan Crane wrote in graduate school about societal fears. Crane tells him yes, the fear state theory, and Saint tells him precisely. He was right. The scale of the event necessary to traumatize an entire society to make them malleable was difficult to imagine. It would be difficult to imagine creating a society trained to expect trauma, whose fear had become so ingrained and irrational that his theory could tip them over. But perhaps it's different in a city that was just overrun by murderous clowns less than a year after a foreign strongman in a mask conquered the government. He has a dream of what Gotham City could be on the other side of its fear state. Crane laughs, telling him that he thinks that he can control the societal evolution, and Saint tells him that he thinks it's worthwhile to try. But for him to do that, he needs a mind like his to do it right. Together they can make it happen. They can engender the right kind of fear state to push Gotham to the brink, and he could take it to the next level. Crane thinks for a moment, stating that he would need the assistance of his Arkham compatriot, Jervis Tech. Some know him as the Mad Hatter. He's a strange man, but he understands things about how the human mind works that are crucial to the evolution of my work. In addition, I'll need a significant number of chemicals, lab space, a good deal of burlap, straw, and rope, and also $25 million to an account of my choosing. But most importantly, what I require more than any of the rest of those things is credit. If we successfully create a fear state, if we take society to the other side, I want credit, Saint! Now in the current time, Scarecrow is listening to Batman scream, telling him, I hope deep down that there's an appreciation of what I'm going to do to our city. What comes next is my most altruistic. But that's not why I'm doing it, of course. I'm doing it out of scientific curiosity. I do believe that Gotham will be much better on the other side, Batman. However, it isn't just Batman under the effects of what Scarecrow is capable of. Peacekeeper 01, Sean Mahoney, is suffering through the same fear. His operatives tell him that he has been drugged, that he needs help, but Sean tells them no. Gotham needs help. He needs to save Gotham. While Saint and his magistrate scramble in to try and remove one of the most dangerous weapons from wandering the street, there is yet another presence about to make itself known. Over at the clock tower, Barbara is looking over the state of the city, stating that they need to have the Bat family make its presence felt so that they can start getting some of the city back on their side. She needs to be the voice for everyone and tell them what is true and what isn't, because if she doesn't, then everyone's going to eat up whatever the magistrate is putting out. Just then, Oracle puts out a message to everyone in the city that she is back online, speaking to them to tell them the truth, and it is much worse than it seems. She knows that they are afraid right now, but the truth is, they aren't nearly frightened enough. Spoiler asks, "What kind of message is that?" And Barbara tells her it wasn't me. Someone has taken over the Oracle system. I'm completely locked out. Oracle, or at least the fake Oracle, continues to tell the city that the mayor is hiding, the scarecrow is on the loose, fear is spreading in the city, and they can be sure that the air that they are breathing is filled with his poison. Probably not just the air as well, it's also in the water that they are drinking. The magistrate can't save them. They are just a new oppressor. High in the skies over the city, they don't care. She wishes she could tell them that Batman is coming, but he can't anymore. Because Batman is dead. And his little costumed friends are going to die soon too. The only ones that you can trust are yourselves, so hunker down, arm yourselves, and get ready for war. This is Oracle, and I will only tell you the truth, the real truth, the one that you don't want to know. And as the message ends, Barbara tries to figure out how this is even possible. How could someone hack the Oracle system? But at that moment, a second message comes in, played only to her. This city does not want your old truth. It wants ours. So we're going to give it to them, cutting you out for good. Bye-bye. Suddenly, Barbara's computer station explodes, knocking everyone down, and as she gets back up, Barbara says that they need to get in touch with everyone. This is about to get much worse. Meanwhile, below Gotham, in Eden, Harley and the Gardener continue to keep the Unsanity Collective safe from the outside in Poison Ivy's hidden grove. But while trying to plan their next move, Gardener tells Harley that she thinks she might know a way to save Ivy. There is a piece of her that is missing, and it's somewhere in the city. And if they can reintroduce that part of her that she's lost, maybe they can bring back the woman that they both know and love. What they are seeing here isn't Ivy. It's a strand of the original mother plant. A dangerous strand that grew in darkness and took her name from a kind of ivy that never needs sun. Just then the vines grow out and a voice tells her, "Yes." And they look up to see Queen Ivy as she tells them that the Gardener has defied her and brought so many down into her domain. Their blood will fertilize her children. Harley fights through the growth, hugging Ivy, stating that she missed her so much and she's so glad to see her. She is so sorry that she ever let her out of her sight, and I love you so much, Ivy. But Queen Ivy whips her arm and a vine reaches out, grabbing Harley, pulling her away, telling her that this is not the path that she wishes to go down. She can't let her back in. She can't let anyone back in. Harley says that she gets it. Please, just listen, Ivy. All of these people here, they're hurt and they need a safe place or they're going to get killed. You've always been my safe place, so please let these people stay and heal. Not forever, but just a little while, please. Ghostmaker says, I can do you one better. Your pheromone abilities can calm the war that is brewing on the surface. End this before it has a chance to get started. Queen Ivy says that she will not interfere with the war that is happening above unless anyone is foolish enough to move against her. And their friends can stay for now. Harley tells her thank you, but Queen Ivy just looks at her and then leaves. Watching Ivy go, Gardener says that even that part must love her through all of this anger. Harley looks over asking how do they find the missing piece of Ivy? She wants her Pammy back. And Gardener says that she might have an idea. But meanwhile, back up at Arkham Asylum, Scarecrow is now kneeling over Batman asking, can you feel it? The future of Gotham is forming beneath us. All the pieces are in place. Embrace it! Evolution is good! It's painful, but it's good. Batman tenses up, breaking through his bindings, punching Scarecrow, yelling, I won't let you do this! And as he runs to escape, Scarecrow gets back up, telling him, there's no stopping it now, Batman! There's no way to turn things back. The only way forward is through the fear state. Batman 112 and 113. As the peaceful commercial of Simon Saint plays over the intercom of Arkham, he tells everyone that he believes in this new type of Gotham. But right now, that isn't what Batman is thinking or even seeing. Right now, as Batman is stumbling through the halls, he's calling out for help because he actually believes that he is losing his mind. However, this isn't just the fear toxin in Batman's system. This is something else. He can't trust his eyes, so he needs help. Can anyone hear me? I need help! With no one answering his call, Batman crawls the rest of the way to the Batmobile, managing to pull out the antidote, quickly stabbing himself in the chest to awaken from his nightmare. His eyes shoot open wide as he sees Scarecrow walking towards him, shouting, this isn't real! You aren't real! Scarecrow climbs on top of the car and begins to press down on the windshield until it shatters, but as Batman blinks, it all fades, and he's mostly okay. He sets the computer to bring him home, calling over the radio that if anyone can hear him, Scarecrow is using some kind of experimental mind control tech. He can't tell if his brain's been compromised. But right now, Batman isn't the only one under the effects of fear. Sean Mahoney is wandering the streets of Gotham in a similar daze, ignoring any and all calls from the magistrate to return to the base. Then he sees it a street full of bodies. He was too late. He was supposed to be Gotham's new hero, the government-funded vigilante. How can he be a hero if everyone is already dead? However, what Sean doesn't see is that all of those bodies are actually people who are alive, because he is seeing those infected like the people back on A-Day. Sean needs to purge these creatures and he will cut them down and be the hero of Gotham City. But over at the clock tower, Batman climbs onto the balcony with Cassandra grabbing him, throwing him to the ground, thinking that he is an intruder. When she sees who it is, she asks, "You're alive?" Barbara comes out stating that he looks like hell. What did Scarecrow do to him? "I've been thrown off of my game. But why does Cassandra think I'm dead?" Barbara says, has he not heard the messages from the new Oracle? Barbara explains that she was going to put out a message like she did during Joker War to help calm the tension building in the city, but someone hijacked her feed and began to spread even more misinformation over Gotham. "Our priority needs to be finding Peacekeeper 01. And where's Ghostmaker?" Barbara patches him in and Ghostmaker appears on the screen stating, "I presume that this means that the reports of your death have been greatly exaggerated. Are the Unsanity Collective safe?" "Well, it's a bit complicated, Batman. Harley led a lot of them to a strange jungle growing beneath the sewers. Poison Ivy is here, but she seems to have gone feral. Is the situation stable, Ghostmaker? If it is, I need you to meet me at the garage. My mind's been compromised and I need help." Meanwhile, back with Simon Saint, he tells Ricardo that he's sorry for this. He wanted to take time to outfit this a bit more carefully, but it's going to be painful. Ricardo settles into a pawn, telling him, "It's okay. I believe in the magistrate. I believe in everything that has been said in those commercials. I'm all in." The dome closes and Simon tells him, "Good, very good. I knew that there would be a time that I'd need a peacekeeper that was off the books, equipped with the weaponry that the city would never sign off on. So officially, you do not exist. Your mission is to apprehend Sean Mahoney. If Sean resists, you are to kill him and retrieve his armor. We need to take back control of the narrative before it's too late. Understood?" Ricardo steps out wearing a set of black peacekeeper armor with an X on his chest. "Yes, sir. I believe in the new Gotham City." Meanwhile, Renee Montoya sighs as she sits at her desk in the GCPD, telling her officer that he better be coming back with something. The officer says that unless there are zombies coming out of Potter's Field, all that stuff said is nonsense. The rest is just echoing the garbage that Oracle's been spewing over the wires. Renee tells him that what they are hearing is not the real Oracle. Just pick up whatever chatter you can. People need to know that there's still some kind of law in this city, and not from a damned UFO. As the officer leaves, Renee lowers her head, asking why did she even take this job? And Batman steps out of the shadows. "Because you wanted to help people. Misinformation is spreading in our city fast. So I'm going to need you to take what I'm about to say at face value and believe it." Batman explains about the bombing at City Hall and how Saint used it to push the mayor into funding his project and working with Scarecrow. "The Unsanity Collective has broken laws, but they're not a terrorist group. They were manipulated by Saint into becoming scapegoats. Peacekeeper 01 has been dosed with fear toxin and is now loose in the city, no longer under the magistrate's control." Renee tells him, "I trust you, but I need something other than just words, because otherwise this just sounds like the paranoid nonsense that the fake Oracle has been spouting over the radios. I need proof, Batman, something tangible." "I'll get to work. Just hang on." As Batman leaves, he's stopped by a peacekeeper drone telling him, "Mass vigilantism is illegal. Cease and desist by the order of the magistrate." Batman stops. "No." And as more of the peacekeeper units begin to surround him, "Saint, I hope this is getting through to you. I want to show you how easy it is to destroy that vision of a better Gotham. Know how you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail for setting all of this into motion, for letting the innocent get scared and hurt. I'm going to make sure that this city knows just who is at fault here, even if it kills me. Are you listening, Saint? Even if it kills me!" As Batman single-handedly dismantles the peacekeeper units, on the other hand, Saint is watching. And Saint is scared. Later at the Fort Gray garage, Batman rummages through his gadgets asking Ghostmaker what does he know about mind control. Ghostmaker helps him set up, stating that that is a truly magnificent question. But Batman goes on explaining. When I was in Arkham, Scarecrow got inside of my head. It wasn't like my usual experience with fear toxin. It was like someone was in my brain, pushing down on the fear center. I need to know if anything was planted there. Batman fits himself with a headset with Ghostmaker asking, a bat mind control helmet? If you think that, we should go through the rest of those boxes sometime. Ghostmaker puts on his headset asking him why though. And Batman says that there is a risk of burning out the moral center of a user's brain. Only a small one, but enough. Ghostmaker says, so only a psychopath could join you in this. Haha, it's more than I'm okay using you as the guinea pig. As Batman hits the switch, the two are transported into Batman's mind with Ghostmaker looking around telling him, that looks like where we need to go. A fog fades, revealing the moments when Scarecrow was back tormenting Batman, to which Batman doesn't even remember. Scarecrow says that fear lives deeper in the brain than memory and then looks back as if expecting them in the mind. Ghostmaker turns to Batman. Was that directed at us? This can't be a memory. It's implanted. I'm having trouble focusing. The Batman projection of himself screams as Ghostmaker asks, well, what do we do? Do we kill it or does it kill you? How does this work? I don't know, Ghostmaker. The projection attacks and Ghostmaker yells, next time, write some instructions. Wait, none of this is real. So we should be able to kill these strange copies, right? So after they fight the projections, Batman begins to recover, telling him, okay, we can go back now. And Ghostmaker pauses him, telling him that there is something else here. The fog shifts as they find themselves outside of Gotham University, sometime in the past. It was during the time that he was training to be Batman. Ghostmaker tells him, this isn't a Batman memory, this is Jonathan Crane's memory. At that moment, student Jonathan Crane walks by, with Ghostmaker stating that after the two of them met, he came here to Gotham because he was told to experience his emotions. He told him to understand fear so that he could be better. Who better than the one student that has been studying fear at extreme level? Crane saw a utility in instilling fear in a city, that fear was an evolutionary tool, and that if they confronted fear, they could learn to overcome it and become stronger from it. Crane saw the modern world was too comfortable, too forgiving. He had a paper at the time that no one would publish in which he called Fear State. First, there must be a shock to the system, and in that panic, you can seize control of the narrative, push the media to fan the embers of that raw fear. Then you must start to focus that fear into the shape of what that society needs to overcome. A straw man that can funnel all of that abstract fear together. At that point, with their fear heightened to a point of clarity, a pure state of fear state, you push people to confront the Scarecrow. Having conquered this fear, they rise, having been made better. And as Ghostmaker takes the two back to the real world, he goes on stating that even though Crane's paper was never published, that form of mass manipulation made its rounds in Silicon Valley, where they eat that kind of stuff for breakfast. That means the Unsanity Collective were the false Scarecrows. He was planning on having the city fixated on something entirely different. Peacekeeper 01. Meanwhile, out in the city, Sean Mahoney, Peacekeeper 01, is looking around at all of the beasts that he has slain, asking, what did I do? What is this? I can't think straight! I'm the hero, damn it! At that moment, Ricardo and the other Peacekeeper units surround him, stating, this is quite a mess! Could you imagine if the press found out? But up above, Scarecrow is watching and he clicks a button. And at that moment, Sean suddenly feels something, shouting, no! I'm the hero! I will save the city! With Scarecrow manipulating Sean, he is now setting up the city to become a powder keg, and Peacekeeper 01 is going to be the match to blow it all up. And that is the beginning of Fear State right here at the Comicstorian channel. Now, there is a lot involved in this listed as a part of Fear State. Some of them we're going to do separate as they're not truly a part of it, like Task Force Z, and some of them we're going to work into these episodes, such as the origins of Miracle Molly. This series contains Nightwing, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Arkham City, Batman Arkham Legends, Batman Urban Legends, I Am Batman, Secret Files, Task Force Z, like everything is involved in this, and we're going to bring it all to you right here at the Comicstorian channel with 1 to 2 episodes of it on a weekly basis. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and hit that like button because we really appreciate all the help. And don't forget, we still have our Patreon where you can get early access to these videos and many others. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.